Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, because y'all, we learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at Tesla, and as you can see, Tesla has been trading kind of like in this range here after coming off of a 261 high on yesterday down to this 245 low, only to bounce from here. And we knew that we could possibly have support in that area, or trouble, as I'd like to say, right? It gave us a double bottom only to go back up and kind of back down into the sideways movement. So I always say, where are the trouble places as of now for Tesla? So we know that we've been hanging around this 249.52 area. We've hit this like here, back at that now. So now that's our support. Can we go back and break through this 5 EMA? That would be interesting, right? So as of now, trouble places for Tesla, 251.07. Breaking that, we have a few moving averages in between that zone, right? So the next level that I have marked at 252.28. If we should break that, it brings us back to another gathering spot, y'all. Trouble place at around the 253.47. Should we break that level, I have the ATR trailing stop, another support resistance area now was our support around the 254.63. So that 254.63 or the 254.88 area, and a few other layers there, could be a trouble place for us, you know, back to the upside for Tesla. Now, should it break above the 255, that means it's broken through a few layers of resistance. So that could be a strong move. As you can see, we stayed here for a while. So I would definitely need to watch above the 255.28. Should we break that 256? Let's see. 256 even, yes, 256.33. Breaking that brings us back to around the 257.19. So if you're trading Tesla today, you know, those are kind of areas to the upside. Again, not financial advice. Now back to the downside, breaking this 249, which in my opinion has been a support place for us. We have 248.92 again at 248.35. Should we break that level, it brings us back to around the 247.26, which stopped us on yesterday here. So definitely need to watch that area, 247.46. Should we break that, 246.55, and breaking that brings us back to 245.96. Now, should we break that 245.96 today, we could very well come back to 244 and under the 244, 242.66. So if you trade Tesla, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside, or your support and resistance areas. Now we are looking at the SPY. We closed at 539.12, and as you can see, we are trading kind of like in a sideways movement for the SPY. So where are the trouble places, right? So it too is kind of finding support around this 536.79 area. Looks like it's kind of trying to bounce from there, but there's some moving averages. We're going to use that as resistance as of right now. Now back to the upside. If by chance we break back above 538.88, we could have trouble again, 539.40. If we break that, 540.08, breaking that level, 540.60, breaking that 541.06. And should we break that around the 541.70, and if we break that level, the ATR trailing stop is around 542.16, and y'all know, in my opinion, that's strong support or strong resistance. So if you are trading the SPY today, those are kind of like areas to the upside that, or your resistance areas. Now breaking that ATR 542.16 area, there's a lot of layers of support. So I would watch, you know, if we could get back to that 543.34. I'm not saying that I see that, but y'all, I say anything in this market is possible. Let's say that right now. Back to the downside. Should we break under the 536.79, we could very well come back to 535.61. 535.18. There's a few layers there. So let's go to the 534.53. Should we break that level, 534.03, breaking that around the 533.10. Should we break that, 532.26, and y'all see the 200 EMA as of now, 531.69. So that could very well be a support place for us. Again, y'all, I look at support and resistance on a much smaller scale. Why? Because when I am in the trade, I kind of want to know where my trouble places are. or possible trouble places are, because in this market anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. So we are now looking at AMD. We closed at $94.50, and as you can see, we are kind of trading sideways, trading in a zone. So is it setting us up, waiting, is it waiting for a move either back to the upside or back to the downside? So as of right now, I'm not sure what's taking so long for my charts to load, but it's okay. Right now, that 93.76 area is a zone, is a support area for us. We've been here. Look at the body of these candles here and the body of the candles here. And that's where price is as of now. So back to the upside, should we break back to the upside, it too, we can use the moving averages as a resistance area. If we should break back above 94.46, we could possibly have trouble in that area. If we should break that level of 94.46, we can come back to 95.03. Breaking that brings us close to the ATR trail and stop at the 95.41, which is not far from this level of 95.60 that I have marked. Should we break that 95.60, we could possibly have trouble again. 96.07, that's around the body of these candles here. Yeah, around the 96.06, 96.07. Should we break that level, 96.54, and if we break that 96.54, we could have trouble again around the $97 range for AMD. Now breaking that $97 bring us back to the 97.69. Should we break the 97.69, you see this high here of 97.87, it is possible. Right now, back to the downside, let's say we break under the 93.66 area or that 93.75 area, we can come back and retest these lows here of 93.22. Breaking at 93.22, we could very well come back to the 200 EMA at the 92.21. I'm going to go to the yes, okay, so this is the 1 hour chart, and for some reason I didn't see those on my 30-minute chart. So 92.38, should we break that, we could very well come back to 89.06, again at 87.73, 85.39, and breaking that 83.09. So if you're trading AMD today, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside. Again, not financial advice, y'all. So we are now looking at NVDA. We closed at 110.71. It too, y'all, is trading in this zone, kind of like everything is looking the same today. So is it setting us up for a move, right? Back to the upside. Right now, support is 109.87, and the moving averages, again, we could use as a resistance area for us. Now, if we should break back above the 110.95, we could possibly have trouble 111.836, breaking that level. 111.72, should we break that, 111.91 is the ATR trailing stop, which is not far away from that area. Now, if we should break that, in my opinion, strong resistance back to the upside, we could very well, kind of like have trouble around the 112.21. Should we break that level, 112.65, and breaking that 113.34. Should we break that level for NVIDIA, 113.77 could be a resistance area. Now back to the downside, let's say we lose this support here at 109.87. We've been here for a while, so losing this support, we could very well come back to, let's say, around the 109.46. If we break that level, 109.33, not far away, but if we should break that level, we can come back to 109.01. Breaking that, we have the 200 EMA at 108.77. I'm going to use that as a support place for us on this 30-minute chart. Breaking that, 108.52. If we break the 108.52, y'all, we could very well come back to 107.14. Again, I look at support and resistance on a much smaller scale. So if you're trading NVIDIA today, those are kind of like areas to the upside and to the downside. Again, y'all, not financial advice. Let's go look at Meta today just to see where we are. It too seems to be trading sideways. It looks like all of our charts are kind of like looking the same, right? So where's the support for Meta as of right now? Looks like this 528.64 area. I'm going to see if I can mark this. Yes, 524.68 area could be a support place for us. As you can see, price has been in this area here, and we've hit this area, trading in this zone. Resistance could be around, let's say the 532.81 as of now. If you want to go to another, area of resistance, we could very well come back to the high of these candles, which will be here, and I'm going to mark that. So again, I look at it on a smaller scale. So, price kind of traded in this zone and then kind of like in this zone, but this is a support place and this could be a resistance area if you want to look at it on a much bigger scale. Now back to the upside, if by chance Meta break above the 532.81, we could possibly have trouble. 534.69. If we should break that 536.67, breaking that brings us back to the 539.16, not far from the 200 EMA as of now at the 539.49. now should we break that, we could very well come back to, let's say, around the 542.29. something stopped us here in this level. Breaking this brings us back to around 545.88, and if we break the 545.88 area, let's see if we can get that right. 544.88, if we should break that, we could very well come back to around 549.99. and I'm just looking at where the body of these candles are here, and I need to get that off. I do that often, y'all. So if you're trading Meta today, you know, those are areas to the upside. Now, if by chance we break back to the downside, let's say under this support area of 528.97, we could very well come back to the 519.45. I'm almost certain there's something that could stop us out in between that. And under, let's say, this level, we have 528.97. The next level I have marked is 519.45. So we definitely need to watch Meta at, I would say, around 528.97. breaking that 524.22 could be a area of support, or yes, area of support. And I'm just coming back to this candle and kind of like where the body of this candle is, and that's around the 524, 525. Let's say the 520, 524.45, 519.45. So 525 could be a support place for Meta as of now, and then we can come back to the 519 area. So if you're trading Meta today, you know, those are areas to the upside and to the downside. Again, not financial advice, y'all. In this market, anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. We are now looking at Google, GOOG, Alphabet Inc. C. We closed at 161.47. and it looks to it's trading kind of like sideways. So where the trouble places, let's see if we can figure that out, right? So as of now, support is around, let's say, the 161.40 area. That's 161.40 area. Resistance, we can say, is here around the 162.63. So as of now, Google is trading. I always get that little thing that just don't want to come off, right? So as of now, Google is trading in this little zone for us, and support at around the 161.40, resistance at around 162.63, and if we, that is the zone that we're trading at. It finally worked, right? So as of now, support here, resistance here. Where are the trouble places for Google? I would watch the 163, breaking that level, 163.16, breaking that, 163.41, and if we should break that, we could very well come back to this high of 164.03. now to the downside, breaking out of this zone that we've been trading in, or the gathering spot, or consolidation area. It could very well find, you know, breaking the level of 161.40, we could very well come back to the 160.72, breaking that level 159.95, and if we should break that, we could come back to around the 159.15, and breaking that level brings us back to the 158.36. but as you can see, that's right where 200 EMA is, and I have this level of 158.28 marked, so that's very, very close, right? So should we lose this level here, the next level I have marked is the 155.48. So if you're trading Google, GOOG, or Alphabet Inc. C today, those are areas to the upside and to the downside, y'all. So let's look at Apple today just to see where we are. And we closed at 202.52, and it too has been trading in a zone. It looks like we're breaking down out of that. So something stopped us at this level of 199.73. So I need to remember that area, because why didn't it continue going down, right? That's something that I ask when I'm looking at the charts. Now back to the upside, we could possibly have trouble at $200.91 if we should break that level, around the 201.98 if we should break that level. We could possibly have trouble around the 203.35 for Apple. Again, the 203.61 is our ATR trailing stop. Now should we break that level, we can come back to around 204.53, and as you can see, it's just kind of like where the body of these candles are here. and that cursor just works when it want to work. So the body here, body here, body here. So I would definitely watch that area. Why? Because price stopped us in this area before. So where are the trouble places to the downside for, you know, under the 199.50? Let's say under 199.73. We have 197.90. Again, here at the 196.89. If we should break that, 196.47. Breaking that 193.04 could be a support place for Apple today. So if you are trading, you know, Apple today, those are areas that I would watch to the upside and to the downside. We are now looking at the VIX. Again, I look at the VIX because it kind of gives me an idea of what's going on with the SPY, and the VIX is finding support here at this 29.59. What's interesting is, you know, we have a few moving averages and a level here around the 31.15. So should we break above the 31.15, we could possibly have trouble 31.90, breaking that level. Let's say around 32.96, breaking that 33.42. If we break this 33.42 for the VIX, which is where our 50 EMA is, and the ATR trailing stop, we could very well move back, you know, to this 34.23, and breaking that brings us back to around 34.82. Now, what's interesting about the VIX is it normally kind of gives us an idea of what's going on with the SPY. So if by chance we break under this level here of 29.72, we could very well come back down to 29.22, and again here at 28.62, breaking that level, we can come back to the 28.33. And what was interesting is just seeing the VIX at the $60 range. That's interesting. Normally when the VIX is down, the SPY is up, and normally when the, you know, the VIX is up, the SPY is down. That is normally, again, not always guaranteed. So again, that's why I look at the VIX, y'all. So this is what I see when I look at the market, y'all. There's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging sometimes is trying to figure out what works best for you and having the discipline to execute that, y'all. So again, I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. If you could please, again, like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.